Think you knew about every shady thing this administration is doing? You don't. You know how ICE is buying up all of these detention centers? They're overpaying for them massively, and we don't know who's pocketing those profits. Let me show you the most egregious example. In Social Circle, Georgia, a town of 5,000 people, ICE bought a warehouse from a company called PNK Group, owned by Andrei Sharkov. The company was originally incorporated in Russia, and Sharkov, who's no longer a Russian citizen but still spends time in Moscow, bought this property less than 2 years ago for $29.4 million. ICE paid $128.5 million for it in 2026. That is a $99 million profit in under 2 years, and the sale, it closed in 4 days. Federal property acquisition usually takes months. So here's the question nobody's answering. Where did that extra $99 million go? Who benefited from this deal, and why did it happen so fast? People are starting to ask legitimate questions about corruption, because it turns out the Social Circle isn't an isolated case. It is a pattern. In Hamburg, Pennsylvania, ICE bought a warehouse for $87.4 million. The seller had purchased it just 16 months earlier for $57.5 million. That is a 52% markup for a property they barely owned for a year. In Surprise, Arizona, ICE paid $70 million for a warehouse the county valued at $46.6 million. That's a 50% markup. In Hagerstown, Maryland, ICE paid $102.4 million for a property that was refinanced 7 months earlier at $76.8 million. 33% markup. In Socorro, Texas, ICE paid $122.8 million for a warehouse El Paso County appraised at $29 million, a 323% markup. ICE has spent over $690 million acquiring just 7 warehouses. That's our money, by the way, our taxpayer money, and they have overpaid on every single one. And they're just getting started. ICE is planning to spend $38.3 billion, again of our money, turning warehouses and former prisons into detention centers. This is what happens when you give an agency $75 billion with no oversight, and all of it is being run by deeply corrupt people. You have no competitive bidding, no accountability, no one checking if the prices even make sense, no one asking who's profiting. Meanwhile, we're being told there's no money for disaster relief, no money for healthcare, no money for education. But ICE can pay a guy with Russian ties $99 million in profit for a warehouse he owned for only 2 years with no questions asked? 58% of Americans say Trump's immigration crackdown has gone too far. Maybe it's because they're watching their tax dollars disappear into deals that look an awful lot like corruption. Look, this is your tax money. Somebody is getting rich off of it, and it's not you, and it's not me. And frankly, nobody knows where all of those profits are going, but god damn it, we should find out. This is not what our government is supposed to be doing. America, you deserve better.